crafters, welcome into Guys Craft 2. If you're new to the channel, thanks for dropping in this afternoon. And to all my loyal subscribers and channel members, welcome. Thanks for being here this afternoon. I'm not going to lie, I am completely exhausted. I actually didn't even grab anything to necessarily work on stuff this afternoon because I am recovering from vacation hangover. I have just never, I'll just say, I think it beat my butt this week. It was fun being with the kids. We absolutely had an amazing time actually being in the ocean. The weather was actually a little cool as far as it was the low 80s, which I know that sounds crazy, but it was cool being next to the water in that, and like being waist deep and getting splashed in that. It's like, okay, I'd much rather be deeper in the ocean. The ocean was like bathwater. You could literally just walk out and jump into the ocean, and it was amazing. And of course, we got to be with the grandkids. I got to be with my daughter, my son-in-law. Just always a good time, and we did so many fun things. But I will tell you, I am certainly glad to be back home. I am certainly glad to be back in Arizona. It was the trip from American Airlines yesterday. They did everything they could to us. We actually, I don't know why, I scheduled a late flight back, so we didn't fly out till scheduled to fly out around 5:30, which was putting us back in Arizona last night at 10 o'clock. That didn't happen. They had storms come through Charlotte, of all places, and had a ground stoppage for about 2 hours. The crazy thing was they kept, so they delayed our flights. They delayed the flights coming out of Charlotte to come to Myrtle Beach, all of that nonsense, but kept showing that my plane for Phoenix was already in Charlotte and that it was going to take off and it was going to be on time. And I'm like, okay, but half the people on that flight can't be there. Like there's no way they're there to make the. So it ended up they ended up delaying that flight as well by the time we finally got out of Myrtle Beach. And we had literally 8 minutes to get from C concourse to B concourse. So I think at some point they might as well just put a hospital right there in Charlotte. So that way they can deal with all us heart attack patients because I assure you, John is not in the shape to be running and chasing in in the airport. And so it worked out. We got home. It was 11:30, quarter to 12. So really just about an hour and 45 minutes late or so. Fortunately, we use a shuttle service that picks us up and drives us back and forth because I can tell you I was not in any frame of mind to drive by the time we got home, and it was just was not the ending to the vacation that we had hoped, but it's all good. Worst part is I gotta go back to work tomorrow, and I can tell you I am not ready for that. All right, let's jump in and see who's in the chat today. All right. Oh gosh, y'all been chitty chat. There's my good friend. Good afternoon. A cool 102 in Tucson. Hey, Miss Mona, welcome in. Thanks for being here this afternoon. Nikki says, good evening, John and Chad. It's a cool 91, but with the humidity, the heat index is over the 100th. The New Guinea impatiens are not happy. I bet. Tell you what, it is so different. We went to Barefoot Landing yesterday, shopped around a little bit, had lunch over there. It's kind of cool, more bar scene, I guess. But it has a big playground for kids and that. We had just not been, and we'd already been to the boardwalk, Broadway at the beach. Anyways, where Paula Deen and all that was. So we just wanted something different. So we went there. It was nice enough, but just walking around, it was just humid. It was just sticky. And we're just not used to that, I can tell you. Hey, Joanne, welcome in. Thanks for being here. My friend Zaza, welcome in, Zaza. I was able to catch your replay, but unfortunately did not. We were traveling, so I did not get to you would think as long as I sat at the airport yesterday. In fact, I ran my phone down. Of course, they just remodeled Concourse A we were flying out of. all actually very nice seating, blah, blah, blah. Of course, none of the plugs work to charge your cell phone. It just absolutely drives me nuts how why would you remodel all that, put the plugs in, and then not provide juice? I have no idea. Hey, Candace, welcome in. Thanks for being here. Hey, Judy. Good afternoon to you. There's my friend Brian. Thanks for jumping in this afternoon, Brian. Always good to see you. Who else? Joydy's here. Hey, Joydy Lita. It's always so good to see you. Thanks for joining. There's my buddy Brendan. I tell you what, he's become such a good friend, and so enjoy him. I was able to watch his replay. So if you've not been over to check his channel out, do that. Mr. Quilter. Zaza's got her channel. Brian's got his channel going. He hasn't done a live yet or joined one, so we'll have to work on that. That takes time, though. Believe me, I know. Hey, Mama Jan, welcome. Thanks for being here this afternoon. There's my friend, Irish lady Linda. Good evening and welcome back. Thanks for being here, Linda. I so appreciate it. Nanette, the farm her quilter. I love that title. Thanks for joining this afternoon. Miss Charlotte's here. Hey, Charlotte, welcome in. Nikki's here. Gosh, guys, you all been chitty chatty. I'm trying to catch up. What else have I been working on? He goes, that temperature sounds good, Brandon. Jeans and sweatshirt weather. Yeah, see, my goal is to retire and get rid of everything but t-shirts, shorts, and flip-flops. And if I can't go out or go somewhere in t-shirts, shorts, and flip-flops, then I don't need to be going anywhere. There's my bestie. Hey, John and everyone. Danielle's here. Welcome in, Danielle. Brenda's here. Hey, Brenda, welcome. Danielle almost got me in trouble today with Donna, the Ying Quilter. I gotta quit calling her bestie in front of people, right? Stitcher's here. Hey, Stitcher, someone needs to invent a transporter like they had on Star Trek. Amen. I'm telling you, it was just so chaotic. And the nice thing was we walked right in, got right in our seats, had everything because they'd already boarded the entire flight, and then there was probably another 10 people behind us. And I will give American credit, right? Because we literally they probably closed that flight and you could hear the luggage and all that closed probably another 15 minutes or so after we got on the flight. So they delayed it even more, even though they didn't tell you they were delaying it more. But our luggage did get there. So I will give American credit. I appreciate that. I do like now on the app that I can track my bags. So it was nice to be able to see that they had gotten off the plane in Charlotte, and then I was able to check to see that they had been loaded onto the plane in Charlotte. So I do like that, and I've been pretty fortunate. I usually have good luck. Um, Sorry, guys, just reading through, trying to catch up. Nikki goes, "That's exactly what I'm wearing." Hey, Miss Linda. All right, I think I'm caught up on the chat, right? Hey, Candy's here. Welcome in. Oh, there's the confident quilter. Hey, welcome in. Thanks for being here this afternoon. Nanette says it's 86 dry and we are on fire here in Western Colorado. Tell you what, the whole country seems to be. It's crazy. I mean, I will say, my son-in-law obviously must be going through menopause because he kept the condo at 70, 71. We literally had to go find blankets to wrap up into the blankets and that. I'm not used to keeping my house that cold. I keep my house typically at 78. 78 is comfortable. To me, a number is a number. If it was 68 is what I had to put it on to keep me comfortable, that's what I would put it on. I think part of it is we did get a new AC unit, HVAC unit, about 2 years ago. And I think it's just where the thermostat happens to be located. But 78 seems to work for us. Now, I will say we have a mini split in the master bedroom. We keep that on 70, 69 at night because I really do like it much cooler to sleep at night. But I was so thrilled to get, and then the flight from Myrtle Beach, I think it was sub 32 degrees. I was like, are you kidding me? I've been cold all week, and that flight was absolutely freezing. And they were just pumping the air as fast as they could. I was like, come on. So the flight, at least Phoenix, was better. Nikki goes, I need to move to Scotland. Tell you what, it is. We keep looking at, do we want to retire, and when we do we want to stay in the states, or do we want to go to some of these other countries anymore? Because tell you what, it's gotten crazy. Brian goes, I'll move with you, Nikki. Tell you what, and Zaza would be such a good hostess. I know she would love to have us all move over there. We could start a new quilt guild. We would just have so much fun. Jody says, not feeling well. Hi to everyone who said hi to me above, my besties. Oh, Jody, I hate that you're not feeling well. It's the wrong time of year not to be feeling good. I hope it's nothing crazy and that you'll be bouncing back quickly. Look, Zaza says, and you can bring Joy to Lita too. Katrina's here. Hey, Katrina, welcome in. Brendan says 78. I'd be baking in that, John. I'm telling you, it's not. It really isn't hot. In fact, I've got some of the lady friends that stop by and visit, and that will tell me how cold my house is. So again, I think it's just a number. Um, Nikki goes, I used to keep it at 68. Jack says it's freezing, so now he keeps it at 79. I do think my blood has thinned since I've moved out here too. Joey says, Zaza, thanks for including me. I think Zaza would have a big list of folks that would want to come. There's Raven. Raven, I feel like it's been forever since I've seen you pop up, and it may just be me, because I will tell you my head is still somewhat in a fog, but thanks for being here this afternoon. Trina says, Brendan, you're making great progress on Baby Jane. He is. I tell you what, he is so talented. I love watching and seeing all the things that he's doing. Loved watching and catching up with Danielle today and getting to spend a little time there. All right. Nikki goes, my daughter comes over and melts. I tell you, it is crazy. So, what am I working on? We are not doing a live Thursday night. I may drop a recording or something in, but not sure what we're going to be doing. We are going down to Tombstone and Tucson and all of that for the 4th of July weekend. Miss Mona should be getting ready to head north because she's got her big quilt retreat going coming up. And so we'll be actually passing kind of like two ships in the night. So I won't get to see her when we head down that way, but we're anxious to get away for just the two of us. As much fun as we have with the grandkids and being there, the 3 hour time difference, it's just like, it just goes on and on, right? A 3 hour time difference and this and that. It does make a big difference for us. So we are anxious to just kind of have a little time for ourselves as a couple. And we're looking at land and doing some things too. So we'll see how we figure all that out. Oh, there she goes. Raven says, been on vacation since Wednesday, so I haven't caught many lives. Not a problem. I just know I always see, there's always those consistent names that pop up, and Raven's been one that's been really loyal to the channel, and we appreciate you. And I hope you had an amazing vacation. Danielle says, I've laid around all day getting home from breakfast with family, binge watching TV, and then doing puppy cuddles. Yeah, we had to unpack. I had to do his laundry for his work clothes and that. It's just what I typically do. But I hadn't done my laundry or our laundry um, from last weekend, so I needed to get that done. Of course, we had stuff from the trip that I need to get done. All that fabric and stuff's over there. And can I tell you guys, I am so thrilled to be somewhere that has internet again. That is the worst internet connection we have ever had on vacation. That's our 5th or 6th year being in Myrtle Beach. Yes, we tend to change condos, houses every year. We've never quite like found that house or that condo that we liked. And this condo was okay. We had a beautiful ocean view. Obviously, the AC worked really well. It was definitely an investment property where, like the walls definitely needed to be painted again. The stove, 80% worked. But I will tell you, the property itself was just, we were supposed to have this big, beautiful, lazy river, which they did, but it's damaged and broke, so they kept it closed the entire week. They had a pool table and all that up on the 16th floor, so you go up there at night and play, but the air conditioning didn't work. They had a library on the third floor and that you could take the kids to, but the air conditioning didn't work. And the maintenance guys are like, yeah, it's been out for like 3 months. They just don't want to pay the money to fix it. The hot tub was broke. We couldn't use the hot tub. It was like, really? I mean, like, so you advertise all these amenities and then we didn't even get to enjoy them. So definitely probably will not be going back to that property at least. Um, Katrina goes, grandkids can wear you out. I tell you what, they have so much energy. They're 6 and 8. And it was definitely a lot to keep up with, but it was fun. We don't ever get to really spend that much time together in that. So I had hoped to actually start cutting and putting together my soon to be daughter in law's quilt. She had changed her mind on what she wanted for a wedding gift and wanted something black and white. And so I did get the pattern done. I still have some things I need to work on. Maybe I'll switch over to this camera. Y'all can actually see it better. Let me jump over here. So I really like the way this is turning out. This is my pattern. It's one I'm working on. It's going to be cut completely with AccuQuilt, obviously. So I'm anxious to kind of get that going. It's got the bear paws and that. I think it'll really be a cool quilt. But I ended up just deciding, you know what? I'm just going to buy a bolt of Kona black and a bolt of Kona snow to do this. And of course, it was supposed to be delivered today. I purposely ordered it Monday, last Monday, because I know it typically takes a day for them to ship me. And it takes 4 or 5 days to get here. So, of course, it was supposed to be delivered today, and it's still showing with FedEx in Ohio somewhere. So, my hope is, excuse me, that it actually gets here before we leave Thursday for southern Tucson and Arizona. If not, I guess it is going to sit on the porch anyway. So all of my grand plans got changed around by FedEx. So that's nothing new. Also working on another quilt pattern called Crossroads. This one is again going to be all cut with the AccuQuilt. It's one that I'm thinking that we may try to get that pattern put together and actually do this more as a sew along. And that is probably going to be on our Thursday night cutting up and piecing out when we do the AccuQuilt again. And so I did order more solids to do this one with, but I really liked the idea of doing the navy, doing what Kona calls pomegranate, but it's kind of that fuchsia color. And then the ocean teal with the purples, the limes, and all that. So I'm really anxious for that to come in because I ended up just buying wholesale bolts of that as well because I thought if we test and get this pattern working, I may actually cut some extras and I can put some of the kits on the Etsy store to be sold. I may even give a kit away on one of our lives sometime. So we'll see how that works out. I did talk about the things that the grandkids did um, with Father's Day and that. So it was always good to see them, right? But it was so funny. My daughter gave me a card that says, "You're the golden retriever of dads. All bark, no bite, and a huge fan of bacon flavored treats." How cute is that? So it's always fun to get to be with my kids for Father's Day. And she says, "You're a big softie, and I love you for it. Happy Father's Day." And they all signed it. So it's always fun to get to be with my grandkids and my daughter for Father's Day. Interesting enough, I was watching a YouTube video the other day. It was talking about the 5 tools that you should absolutely have as part of your go to in your sewing room and that if you're a quilter. And one of those turned out to be the Savina Tool Quilt for, so it's the seam presser, right? And it's a nice wooden seam presser. Interesting enough, I've got a cheap plastic one that I had. I think actually came in one of the kits, or one of the Christmas boxes. So this one was a nice wooden one. So my daughter goes, I had no idea what to get you or what you had, but I Googled or ask Amazon or chat or somebody, and this is one of the things that they said all quilters should have. And interesting enough, I actually didn't have it, and so it was funny. I had just seen that on one of the YouTube videos pop up in my feed, and then she actually had bought it, and then she got me sociopath, which is a noun that says a fabric addict in possession of a seam ripper and sewing machine may require supervision. So you'll probably see that sitting around the YouTube studio somewhere in here. So I did just get all that unpacked. So it was a nice Father's Day. She said she ordered a couple other things, but of course, Amazon didn't get them there in time. So I told her she had done plenty and she didn't need to do more. And she can just keep those for Christmas, right? All right, let's catch back up. Nikki goes, I only like booking condos with lazy rivers. I'd be mad. Yeah, was not happy at all about it. It's one of the things that's so funny. We were really looking forward. The pool was absolutely freezing, and they had the crankiest old 90-year-old man. And all he did was blow the whistle and yell at the kids the entire time. So we went the first night with the kids, and then we didn't go back. And my grandkids are great. They're kids, and there are plenty of kids there. But kids are going to be kids too. This guy was not what they should have had at a condo like this with kids. It was just, again, and the water was so cold. That's what was so funny. You could literally walk straight into the ocean. So we ended up spending our time at the ocean and not at the pool with the kids. Um, Zaza says I'd be asking for a full yeah, it's just crazy. It's just really sad when you get down to all of those areas and that, and you just never, it's popular, it's busy. I mean, this week is crazy. And the rental agency that we used is good, but they're just one of probably 10 other agencies that are renting or managing condos in that building. It's just sad. It's just, nobody builds up or stands up for what they should anymore. Um, Stitcher says that black and white is really pretty. I'm anxious to get it started. I'm nervous because obviously it's going to be such a so much to trim, so much to take care of. Because even though I'm using the Moda fabrics in that, and so the white won't bleed through, I think I am going to use my silver gray thread. I like this cool gray from uh, Glide, because I don't want to use the white on the black, but I'm not using black, obviously, on the white. So I think, to me, the most neutral would be to either use the silver, which is the cool gray, or I have used linen in the past from Glide, which is a really nice off-white, but I don't think I want that on the black. I think the silver. So I got to figure out what I want to piece with. So a lot yet to do. Nikki says I'd leave a bad review. My son-in-law did. He left a very thorough review. He worked on it for about 3 days, listing everything that was wrong, and then using ChatGPT to help complete the review for them. Oh, Jody says, did you say you're doing it for? So, Jody, I tell you what, until I think yesterday or Saturday, completely forgot about the fact that we normally do a holiday quilting bee, and we would normally have a pattern picked out, and we would normally do something on July 4th. We're not going to be here to do it this year, so we are skipping July 4th this year. I am sorry. I honestly, guys, have had so much going on with the vacation and with us planning to go to Southern Arizona, I completely forgot about. Just forgot it. And so that is, hopefully not my style and not the way we normally do things. So the plan is we will definitely pick up Labor Day will be our next one, but we are going to skip July 4th this year. But I apologize for that because I will be honest, I just made other commitments and put things down in the books, and just for some reason, it did not get marked. And so, since I'm not going to be here, I worry about what my setup will be and where we'll be on July 4th because that's a Saturday. So, hopefully, there will be enough other things going on that Saturday. You all won't necessarily miss me, but I do hope you miss me if you know what I mean. But we will definitely do one Labor Day. But Joy, thanks because I did mean to talk about that. And I'm so sorry, guys, about that. Katrina says bacon makes everything better. I found a recipe today, and so I actually, it's to do the copycat of the chicken wrap for McDonald's. And so I decided to do chicken tenderloins instead because I didn't want to use the fried chicken because we are trying to get in better shape. And I actually found some really good seasonings in that and ended up making those in the air fryer. And they really grilled up really nice in that. And then we diced up lettuce, tomatoes with a little bit of cheese. And I found a honey mustard that I could actually like that actually had more honey than it did mustard. And put all that together. It was supposed to go in a wrap and then go in the air fryer to kind of brown up. Let's just say John is definitely an old white boy and has no clue on how to roll a burrito. So fortunately, my partner does. But today we just did it as a salad. And it did turn out really, really good. So I was really happy with that. So we are trying to do things that are going to be more keto. But bacon was one of the things that did go in the wrap, and bacon does it just it's just such an amazing flavor. Jean's here. Jean says, "Cool gifts, John. Thank you. Very nice, Azah. Thank you." It's so fun because my daughter does like to buy for me, and she likes to try to buy sewing, quilting stuff. But she's like, but you have everything. It's so hard to ever figure out what you have. Plus, they're never here to necessarily see what I have. So she goes, it's more of a challenge than you think. And I thought, yeah, I know it is for me sometimes too, because I'm buying and doing things for the grands, but I don't get to see them very often, and not necessarily even see them in their habitat. So it's always fun. Oh, Zaza says her kids get her Kohana sewing accessories and she loves them. Yeah, it's just fun to just get something fun. Look at Brendan. He goes, I just got some too. Y'all killing me. Oh, there's just Jason Keto. Hey, good evening. Thanks for being over here, Jason. It means a lot. He's one of our buddies from over in Tuber Chat. I appreciate you dropping in and listening to me rattle on. And so, just talked about keto, right? And all the fun things that's we're trying to get back into. Brendan says, so nice. I really do love them. I was drilling when you're showing the new tools, Brendan. Y'all killing me. It's incredible how soft the handles feel even when they're solid. I'm anxious to see that. I ended up buying a new rotary cutter because I've gone through some of the different ones that I've got. I'm using this 60 now, and I've had the 45s, and I've gone through the different ones. But I ended up ordering one of the more ergonomic ones, and so we'll see. Because again, I don't want to do a lot of manual cutting. That's why I have the AccuQuilt, but I do still, you're still going to have to do so much cutting, right? So I ended up ordering the ergonomic ones. I'm anxious for it to get here. Again, I was hoping it would be here, but um, didn't get here. So it is what it is. Raven says, I got the copycat Big Mac and replaced the mayo with high protein, low calorie mayo. It was really good. Yeah, we used to make a Big Mac sauce. We still make a Big Mac salad. So it was funny. I ended up making this more as a salad today. And my partner even goes, at least now there's two salads you'll eat because he knows if I get really hungry enough for a salad, I'll make the Big Mac salad. And but that dressing is what makes the whole difference, right? You've got to have that dressing. Right. And Katrina says, keep us informed how those hold up. Nikki goes, I got honey mustard with my French fries and chicken sandwich at Freddy's. Oh, I like Freddy's. It was so good. I keep getting honey mustard instead of ketchup. I've just never been a honey mustard fan, but this was a organic blend that Walmart had. It actually had really good reviews, and so I grabbed it. And actually was really good. I don't know why I've never been a honey mustard fan for some reason. Stitcher says there's a herbal commercial now where the hot tub at a rental is broken, so the family moves to another. At the end, the teenager won't let the father join her and mom in the hot tub. It's a bad ad. Tell you what, some of what they come up now with advertising is like, yeah, that's not something we should be sharing. Hmm. Trina goes, I hear thunder rolling in the distance. We did get a storm, Myrtle Beach, Friday night, and you could hear it and see it, but it just like never hit the condo, which was great. But it was the humidity afterwards that was so crazy. Brian says you should keep a wish list on Amazon. Give your daughter access. You know what? So that is so crazy, Brian. So for Christmas birthdays, my daughter has a wish list for the grands. And so I always go out to see what she's put on the wish list for the kids. Never thought about doing the reversal, right? That it might help her keep up and understand what I need. So, yes, that's a good idea. Thank you, Brian. How crazy is that? There's my buddy, So Magic, Fabric Magician. Welcome in. Thanks for being here. I've been able to catch her channel. She's usually live during the week at I think 8 a.m. And so been able to jump over and watch some of the projects and the fun things she's got going on. Always fun to see what's happening. Nikki goes, have you tried the Japanese salad, ginger dressing? It's wonderful. I may have to. I haven't. No, because number one, I am not a big salad eater, as you can tell. I didn't get all this extra padding by eating lots of salads. I've just never been a real salad fan. Interesting enough, when I lived over in Virginia, we had a pizza place that if we really wanted salads in that, I would go to the pizza place. And actually, I didn't like their pizza, but I loved their salads because their lettuce was so cold, it was almost frozen and crunchy. And that's, I think, what makes a big difference for me. I like that crispness of the vegetables in that. And so I would eat their salads versus a lot of them you get at the restaurants and they just seem limp. I mean, I don't know. Trina says, I told my son, let me know what the kids want. Amazon can deliver it instead of me ship it. I tell you, that's the thing. I've always been a QVC fan, and yes, it's Christmas in July on QVC, and yes, John's bought several things today. So he's bought his Lindor chocolates. I buy them every year. They're on today's special value on QVC. You just can't beat the price, and I've got too many friends and stuff that like them at Christmas time. So I always buy the box, and you have to buy it early in Christmas in July from QVC if you want to get the best deal in that. So I bought those today. I bought pecan clusters from one of, again, some of their chocolate, some of their high end stuff you just can't beat. It's not always cheap. I do think QVC's gotten very expensive, but I do like some of their specials for Christmas in July. So interesting enough, that's where I jumped over and did some of those things today. But I ended up buying some of that stuff for my kids, and then I have it shipped here to only ship it to them, and it's like, okay, so I had to pay the 550 or whatever to get QVC to send it to me, so I could only pay probably double shipping to send it to them. So now what I've done, especially with some of the pre-orders, the last couple of years, my daughter likes having cookies. She doesn't like making cookies in that, but she enjoys baking them with the grandkids. So I've been sending them like David's cookies, and then I can have them sent like the first week of December, so they get fresh baked cookies for Christmas and that. They're able to have something to do together as a family, but yet not such a big mess. So I have started sending things directly because it's like I'm not paying twice. I used to order Amazon, have it sent to me with free shipping and have it show up the next day, only to put it in a box a few weeks later and pay for the shipping to go across the country. It's like that made no sense. But why was I doing that? Nikki goes, I'll just let the boys out, but the squirrels are eating my bird food. My dad used to have a squirrel box in the backyard. He absolutely loved the squirrels. And so he had different bird feeders and things that he would try to take care of. Crows, he used to get really furious at. And he didn't like blue jays for some reason. But Dad actually had a box built that was out on a pole and it had a lid, and the squirrels could go up and they would open the lid, reach in and take a peanut. It was the most amazing thing to go when I used to get to go back and see him. And sit on the deck in the morning, have a cup of coffee, and watch him go out and fill put a handful or two handfuls of peanuts in that squirrel feeder. It was just amazing to watch those squirrels, and you could watch. They knew about the time of day he was going to do it every day, so it was too funny. Um, she goes, I bet they. Brendan says, I bet they look adorable gobbling up all that bird seed, though. I do like watching my wild animals. I'm not so crazy about the animals here in Arizona with we have coyotes, we have the wild javelinas, which I have not seen, knock wood, but I do have a family of bobcats that just literally stroll down the street every couple of weeks. So I know we have a family of bobcats, and I definitely see the coyotes every so often because I do have cameras everywhere in the house, and so they definitely set the cameras off every so often. Zaza says, Nikki, squirrel snacks for Walter and Leo. Do they ever come close to catching one? So funny. Trina says, we had a squirrel that would hold on to the feeder with his feet and he'd do crunches to get a bite of food. Once they decided to move into the attic, bird feeders left and they got evicted. Yeah, that's the problem with some of these animals, right? They do get invasive and they do damage. The worst thing we had was the carpenter bees. Man, those did a real number on one of the houses that we lived in, only on the deck, and it was just crazy how much damage those things could do. Zaza says, I hate Caesar salad. We holidayed in St. Thomas once, and it was Caesar salad with everything at the resort. It wasn't even a proper Caesar salad. Yeah, that makes it even worse, right? Brian goes, when I have salad, I end up eating around the lettuce. Yeah, well, that's because that's what they give you, the whole bowl, all the good stuff that makes, they skimp on. Brendan says, just a bowl of croutons. Um, yeah, you got to have the bacon and feta cheese. I do like some of the different cheeses. All right, so what else is we got going on? So I am working on those two projects. I hope to be able to start getting those cut in that. I've still got the tote bag that I need to get going. Um, I ended up doing something crazy with Hercules back there, so my partner is working on getting him back up and running. I need to, so I'll be sewing on Jake for a little while. I came home to realize that everything for my show and tell is sitting there, and so I've got to. I am completely behind on getting the X Plus put together, and in fact, I think I ended up putting one of them incorrect. And now that I'm getting into some of these, I'm wondering if I might end up doing it instead of doing it as a big quilt, that I might do something more like Fallon did. And I don't know if I want to do it necessarily as a table runner, but I may do it as 3 and 3 or 4, where it's got the fours. Instead of doing just a big quilt, I may do it as just 4 different wall hangings, I haven't decided yet, but I don't know that I want that big, huge quilt that way. Keep changing my mind. I still have this one to finish. I've got to get the Sparkles and Stripes will be coming down, so it'll be time soon to put up a new quilt. Yeah, we're out of Pride Month, right? So it's hard to believe that June is gone. July is basically here. Now the countdown to Christmas is really getting serious. It's like, oh my gosh, I've got to get that done. I've got to get Pat's quilts done for Quilt of Valor. We did not get to them this weekend. I got to get those trimmed up. We won't get to them next weekend, which means I need to get to them the following weekend. We'll get those at least all long armed. I'll get them trimmed up. Then we just got to throw the binding on, and I need to get those over because Pat did want those in August. And so I don't know if it's early August or late August. And Pat's not here tonight, so I'll have to email her. But I will definitely have to figure out what to do with to get those done and get those off. And then I've got the wedding coming up in October, so I've got to work on that quilt. Still need to do the one for my grandson, and then all of those will need to be long armed. And that long arm just sits and sits and sits. And my poor partner, he tries to keep up with me, and he's had a lot going on. Really just wanted him to rest today because I know he was exhausted from the week as well. So we came home, I did laundry, he did a few things. So we kind of made a list of like, what do we have to do to just get through? And then we're only working 3 days. We're off Thursday, and then Friday is our July 4th. So we're going to be out of town, for those days. So we'll be back in time Sunday to make sure that we are live here. So we won't have a live on Thursday because we'll be out of town. Obviously, we're not doing the holiday quilting bee because John completely forgot. And then I'll be live again next Sunday. So we'll figure out how to get all that put back together. Nikki goes, my husband likes croutons. Pick them out and put them in his. I like croutons in some salads. It depends on the crouton. I don't like the little square, nasty ones. I like the real, more like Texas toast ones. And definitely like when they have the butter, cheese, garlic, all of that kind of stuff. To me, you could just never have too much garlic, right? Garlic goes on everything. Mona says, come to my place. I have a herd of javelina that go through here every few days. It's crazy. And I've heard javelinas can be mean. So I have no desire. Now what I'm worried about is if we actually move out and get any place a little rural, now worry about rattlesnakes and that. It's like, see, I'm not used to all that animals and that. And as long as they stay away and do their thing, I won't bother them. I don't chase after them. Just don't want them to bother me. And so we'll see how that works out. Zaza says that's true love giving him your croutons. Nikki says javelinas smell like skunks. I saw one when I camped on the Salt River in a Gila monster. Oh, I can't imagine. Hey, Molly, welcome in. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you dropping in this afternoon. Nikki says he can always tell when I don't like my dinner. He always offers me what he is eating. He's a good guy. Does make a difference when you have them. Mr. Quilter says javelina and Texas toast. I always learn something new on here. Oh, and I know you mean that as a compliment, but I tell you what, I think the funniest thing was trying to keep up this week in South Carolina. My partner obviously is from Washington State, so he grew up in the Northwest and that. He handles being in the South very well. Of course, he thinks I'm adorable, right, Ed? But it does get to him when I get in around others that actually speak my language because my Southern does come out a little bit stronger. And it is, I think, quite entertaining for him at times. And even my daughter goes, it's just so fun. And I'm like, you've got a worse accent than I do. Like, my daughter really has a lot of that Southern drawl, but they all think I do. And I just don't think I have that much. I don't even say y'all that often. And so that's just, you just can't go there. Aluna says mean and stink. Yeah, see, that's what I've always heard, that javelinas are just mean. I know they have them over in Sun City, which is funny, and I'm sure Sun City West has them somewhere around here, but I just don't hear, I just don't see them up and down around here. So I am hoping this week to get all the fabric in to get started on my soon-to-be daughter-in-law's quilt. I want to get that done, get that going. I definitely need to finish the tote bag that I have been working on forever. I want to get that done. Still got the layer cake that we cut out and did with the paper. I finally have all of that done. Now I've got to go back and start organizing that, getting that piece together. I need to figure out what I'm going to do with all the fabric that I bought at the quilt store. And guys, I got 2 bags full of fabric for right at $200, which I don't think that's bad. And I mean, when you look at the shopping haul that Russ did up in Massachusetts and that, I think he spent like $600 or $700. And I feel like I got a lot of value for what I got because it was, fabric's gotten so expensive, but and getting just the baby Grinch itself, right? That was just enough to say, I'm excited, right? Just so much going on. Nikki goes, I get more southern when I visit my hometown. It's on the Arkansas, Oklahoma, and Kansas border. It's easy to slip back into that twang. It really is. I feel like I've lived out of the South for so long. I mean, Virginia considers themselves Southerners and that, but it's just not the same. And it really depends on where you're at. And of course, I lived more in college towns in Virginia. So obviously, it just, that melting pot was just different. Being out here, people do think I tend to sound more Southern, but I think a lot of that is just because of the Northwest and that influence, or that California influence, but it is what it is. Brian says I draw the line at snakes. I bought a rubber snake, cut the head off, mounted it on a toothpick, and put it in the yard as a warning for the real snakes. I love that. Yeah, I don't know, something made me think about that the other day, and I was like, I am really okay. Like I don't I appreciate nature and I love kind of watching nature and that. I just don't want nature to invade me. I'll carve out my little space. I'll leave them alone. I'll even toss some scraps. I mean, just just don't help. Nikki goes, Brian, if that works, I'm going to try it. Zaza says I had to Google javelinas. I was not expecting pigs. They look like boars. Yes. In fact, that's what I used to call them, was wild boars. And everybody goes, no, 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 they're javelinas. It's like, okay, I had no idea. Brendan says, a compliment, of course. I must live a sheltered life in Kiwi land. Some of these food and animals I've never heard of. I think it's just, it's so, the U.S. is so diverse, right? Because we move from state to state like Europeans move country to country. And because of that, we have such diversity, right? Just even in Arizona, the fact that we have, I'm living in 115, 118 degrees. I can literally go 2 hours north and drop 20, 25 degrees in temperature. I'm sitting watching Flagstaff and watching the news. It was around April, and they were talking about that they're actually under that. Flagstaff is the fifth snowiest city in the entire country. So not just Arizona, but for the entire country. And that's based on elevation, right? But that they only had 36 inches of snow this year, which was 60 inches under their average snowfall. No one should live where 96 inches is considered average. I mean, I would just have to hibernate all winter, and I can't imagine being in that heat, that dry heat, and how it just dries your skin. I don't know. I just not gonna happen for me. I can tell you that. Nikki goes, yes, they are furry little pigs. Yes. As I said, plastic birds of prey are good deterrents for lots of animals. Yes, the lady that works for me has an apartment in downtown Phoenix where pigeons decided to move in on the balcony and birth babies and all that. And I know after she went and bought one of the big owls from Lowe's to sit out on the patio to see if it would help deter them coming back. But apparently, I think they just like to sit on the owl, so it's just crazy. Brenda goes, "Oh my gosh, they look intense. They are. And they will charge you from what I'm told." We had a green snake that decided to sun itself on top of the AC. I kept hearing a ting, ting, ting and went outside to figure out what it was. I was not happy. No, I would not be either. Oh, Nikki says they're venomous. I did not realize that javelinas were. I knew they were mean and I knew they had like razor sharp teeth in that, but I didn't realize that they're venomous. Jen goes, "Wait till we put together a holiday menu." I tell you, yeah. I mean, we were talking about it the other day, right? I mean, now I've never had pickled eggs. I've never had pickled pig's feet. I've never had mountain oysters. But you know, there's a lot of good old Southern dishes that I know of, but I've not participated in. Just like menudo, whatever that stew is that a lot of the Mexicans, Latinos eat. That's not happening because I've heard what they put in that, and that's not stuff John eats. So no, that's crazy. Linda says I use the big plastic on my boat to keep the birds from perching and doing their business on my deck. Birds laughed at me, so I strung up old CDs, and that worked. Yeah, it is funny. Like you do have to figure out like what does work and what will get them out of the way. Mm-mm. Brenda goes, "I'm looking forward to that. I'll probably Google everything. You'd be all good. I'm just hoping that you're saving your pennies so you can come to QuiltCon in 2028. I think we would have so much fun together. Um, but we'll see. We have 2 years to plan for that." Katrina says, "I didn't make it. My son took a shovel and threw it over the back fence." Oh, crazy. Nikki goes, "Lizards don't bother me, but Gila monsters are venomous, but I don't do snakes." No, yeah, I don't either. It was funny. And So Magic says, "No, I don't do snakes or spiders." Oh, Gila monsters are venomous. Okay, all right. Now I'm up to speed. Yeah, it's funny. When we lived in South Carolina years ago, we had half our backyard was more foresty, and then half the yard was nice where the kids could play. And every so often, the kids would come in and let me know they had found another snake in the backyard. And I used to say, "What do we do? What do we do when we find a snake?" And my kids would shake their head and go, "We go next door and get Mr. Mike." I said, "Yes, go get Mr. Mike." And he would come over and take care of the snake. Only because I don't know enough about snakes. So I never grew up really around them. I've never handled them. I mean, he came over most of the time and chopped their head off, but still, I didn't know which were venomous, which were bad, if that was a full-grown one or half-baked. You know, like he had grown up in South Carolina, lived there his whole life, so he knew. I always knew you're supposed to leave black snakes alone, right? Because they take care of rodents and that, and they won't bother you. But I don't know. We'll see. Zaza says, "I draw the line at brains or mountain oysters." Amen. I tell you what, sister, I just, I don't know. I'm very funny. When I went to Italy, Italy used to feed us all. We used to stay at a mom and pop. They used to give us all kinds of stuff. Half the time I was there, they made me pizza because they knew I wasn't eating all that craziness. Brendan says if he's coming to QuiltCon, he may have to stop buying quilt kits for a little bit. I tell you what, it becomes an obsession. I'm anxious to see when you get to move into that guest room and get a new shelf and that in there. I think that's what we're anxious to see. That's when we know that we have you and that you've taken the plunge completely. Mm-mm. Brian says one insect that freaks me. Oh, is the mantis. I don't hurt them, but they are creepy looking. Yes. Brenda says, "I've mentioned it to Mr. Quilter's Mr. Planting the Seed." There you go. I understand. I know exactly how that works. I told my partner 2 years ago when we went to QuiltCon. I said, this is all we're spending. This is what we're doing. This is how things are working when we get there. And he's just a supporter, right? He always takes good care of me. When we get down there, by the time we're done with the first aisle, he goes, well, I think we spent all we budgeted. And I thought, oh my God, that's so adorable. Yes, you're probably right, but yes, no, we're not done. We've only gotten down the first aisle, and there's like another 10 to go. So, needless to say, we didn't stay within budget that year. But I am trying to do better. I really am, guys. Mm-mm. Trini goes, I'm starting to look for patterns that use fat quarters. I have so many fat quarters. I will tell you the one thing that I do like about Villa Rosa, you know, I like Villa Rosa, but if you go to their website, they do have a sort function and they will tell you every pattern that uses fat quarters and how many. So you can pull that pattern up and it'll tell you to do that pattern takes 9 fat quarters. This one takes 12 fat quarters. I do like that they do that. And so I have done that too. I found one the other couple of months ago. It was a Halloween one that I worked on that's sitting over there to be long armed. And I really wanted to just do that fat quarter bundle. And that's ended up, I looked up and I think I had 12. And so I found a pattern on Villa Rosa that took 12 fat quarters. Nikki says we have scarlet hanger that pecks on our windows. It's beautiful, but I have a bird boogers on my window. Yes, I can't imagine, right? I mean, animals are just they do get involved. It's when they leave their business behind that gets on my nerves. Danielle goes, I was helping grandma while listening. All good, all good. She is always here to support and always a good chatter. She's been jumping around the channels today too. It's so funny. Zaza said it was Norman that suggested going to QuiltCon. I think he would regret that idea. I just hate that you had so much issues getting back, you know, from QuiltCon and that because it definitely does not make you enticed to come back over. But yeah, it is what it is. Hey, Molly. She says, I just used one of the Villa Rose patterns for a 5-piece bundle I had. Yeah, that I will say, you know, there's a lot of things about Villa Rose I like. Obviously, I continue to buy new patterns and do different things too, but it's just crazy. So, guys, we're coming up to the top of the hour. Like I said, I will not be live on Thursday. I may post a video. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. I do have to work for 3 days this week, and I can tell you I'm not anxious. I really should have checked my email while I've been on vacation, and I decided no, I was not doing that. If anything was urgent enough, they have my cell phone. They could have called me and reached out. And you know what? I we should be able to take time away. And I just definitely needed the time away. I know the next couple of months at work is going to be very strenuous, stressful, um, and I'll get through it because that's what we get paid to do, right? That's how I get to have toys, and that's how I get to be here. But I so appreciate you all being here this afternoon with me. Hopefully, next weekend, you'll get to see me sew. I've got 3 or 4 things cut out. I need to get the stuff ready for Pat. I do want to get some projects finished. I just feel like I have a lot of stuff in motion right now, and that's typically not me. I usually have a better plan. It did throw me. I'd cut a lot of the materials for my daughter in law's quilt. And then she goes, is it too late to change it? I was like, no, it's not too late to change it. I just have to start all over. But I do have those quilts that I need to get done because I do want to make sure I get those gifted. But then it's funny because I'll get a new pattern in the mail and I'll stop everything and make that pattern. And it's like, okay, you've got to stop doing that. You've got too many projects built up. But at the end, it is what it is. So, guys, I so appreciate you being here. Please show the love. So Magic has got a great channel. Jump over and check out what she's doing. Brian's posting some cool videos. I love his creativity. You've got Brendan with Mr. Quilter. You've got Zaza doing Saturday nights. Danielle is on several times a week. Definitely go over and show some love to them. They're big supporters of my channel. I definitely like to call them out. And I appreciate what all of you all are doing. So with that said, I appreciate you being here this evening, listening to me rattle on. We will actually be more productive next week after John recovers from the vacation that he took. As always, guys, until next time, happy crafting.